from behind, a leadership philosophy, became popular at the Harvard Business School after Nelson Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. It encourages leaders to develop breakthrough ideas, not just by cultivating followers who can execute, but by building communities that can innovate together. Jombe's annual Leading from Behind Summit brought together a new set of eclectic speakers, key thought leaders, engaging fireside chats and discussions centered around building leaders, along with 40 Under 40 and People Capital Index award announcements.
We are all gathered here to celebrate a journey of many young leaders and felicitate companies who have enriched their growth. Leaders that truly understand these needs and lead in a way that enables these intrinsic motivations have the key to enable strong loyalty, engagement, and performance. They must be humans before their teams.
What's changing is organizations are becoming progressively inclined towards making sustainable leadership development interventions. Learning leaders, talent leaders, HR leaders, the big focus area is how do I have sustainable, measurable leadership development. And precisely the think tank, the Leading from Behind think tank and Jombe are committed to enable organizations understand future leadership competencies, understand future leadership development processes, and together continue the narrative beyond this summit.
A think tank was specially curated for this year's summit, glorified with the presence of innovators and corporate leaders, setting the tone for the HR fraternity and leadership in top Indian companies of the year. The idea was to help organizations understand future leadership competencies and continue this narrative beyond the summit. The summit saw leaders from different walks of life come together and discuss the lesser-known aspect of leadership, of leading not only from the front but also from behind. The panels were designed to address the current-day trends in leadership development and aim to spark conversations, trigger change, and bring in new-age solutions to people management.
When you see a leader, the gender comes along with the package. And when we say leadership has no gender, is it oversimplification?
So I think it is an oversimplification, Guru, but I think it is an important iteration of the value of leadership. I think it's very important that, we tend to see everything through gender lenses. And I think leadership is about value-based leadership. Leadership has no gender at the top, but to ensure that leadership has no gender at the top, you have to ensure that through the hierarchy or through the career, the organization facilitates that belief. If you see our academic institutions, what is amazing is at the entry level, the number of males and females in any organization are equal. The problem happens, and that's a very practical problem that happens between the age of 28 and 32, 27 and 32 perhaps for women, where almost half the women fall off the workforce. You see.
So yeah, I'm just going to pick on that age is really, really tricky, and I've seen a number of women. It's my 30th year of working, and I've hired and seen a lot of women grow in our organization. I think that's the trickiest age, and women really, really have a very hard time going through that age. And that is the age, and even if they come back to work after that age, unfortunately, they start seeing their role, the highest role they can achieve is of a manager and not a leader. And there's a big difference between that, and that distance, if they have to travel that distance, probably more women have to support them at that time because they have gone through it and so on. But I don't think flexi time or working from home is the solution, because that's really not going to be the leadership roles. That's going to be, again, managerial roles at best.
We're going to talk about behind every brand, there is a story. As a brand custodian of one of the most trusted brand of this country, Tata Sons, Tata Group, what are some of those enablers that you put in place to create that brand to where it is today?
When I took on the role, therefore, a lot of the focus was really on what should we do now to ensure that our legacy, our reputation is sustained and built upon. One of the principal concerns I had was how do people in the group, and by then we had over 600,000 people across the world, how do they relate to this brand? If your reputation is good standards of corporate governance, giving back to society, how do people actually connect with those issues? And therefore, a lot of focus is put into actually explaining and telling stories around what this brand really means in these areas.
I would probably begin by saying, I think the first thing that's important, and this is more important in the public space of a country which is the largest democracy that history has seen. So self-determination is probably the most important one. So you really need to understand your audience, and you need to let them make choices of their own for where you want to take it. And that's important for people in positions of leadership in a public capacity. Second is knowledge. I think too little is said about the amount of knowledge that is necessary in order to run public spaces in our country.
I just want to reiterate the work Mai does. She has nurtured over 1,500 orphans. She's known as the mother of orphans. She runs several orphanages in Maharashtra. She has about a couple of hundred sons-in-law, a few hundred daughters-in-law. Phenomenal work. Thank you so much. Now a quick rapid fire. One thing, Commander Tommy, that you're grateful for.
For all the people who helped me, and most of them are not Indians, they're all abroad. But I'm really happy that I got a lot of support in Europe and all that when I was really down the dumps. Very grateful to those people and to those few sponsors from India who helped me out.
Thank you. Sindhutai, तुम्ही जर सिंधुताई किंवा माई नसत्या आणि तुमच्या आईने तुम्हाला जर शिकू दिलं असतं तर तुम्हाला काय बनायला आवडलं असतं?
टिंब रिकाम्या जागा भरा, मी काहीच झाले नसते. मी शिकले नाही म्हणून इथपर्यंत येता आलं. ताकदीनं उभी राहिले ना. शिकले असते तर सहज विचार केला असता. मला प्रत्येक टप्प्यावर ते विचार करावा लागला म्हणून मजबूती आली. एवढं खरं. आभार मानते आईला, थँक्यू म्हणते, तिने मला शिकू दिलं नाही.
Thank you so much. Just summarizing this panel, this power pack, two great Indians out there who have defied how humans can learn to move on, take challenges, forgive, use compassion, try and understand the other person, prepare your mind, know your mind, empower your teams to face challenges, throw them out in those difficult waters and let them figure that out. Thank you so much, both my panelists.
Launched by Jombe and audited by British Standards Institute, People Capital Index is an indicator or measure of employee and market perception on how well the organization is developing its people capital. Inspired by the World Economic Forum's Human Capital Index, PCI aims to make people development a top agenda for corporate India.
BSI, as we all know, is the British Standards Institute, who were the creators of the ISO 9001, 14001, and most of the companies today abide by them. So it's an honor to be partnered with them to launch the People Capital Index Awards. It's an indicator of an employee and market's perception about how much is a company really investing in the people capital in their company. I'll run you through a little bit about the PCI evaluation process also. Completely anonymous survey run. This was run through social media and other job portals. Because it was anonymous, we got very unbiased views from employees about how much are they, how much are their companies investing in their people capital. And the questionnaire that was co-created by the BSI and Jombe together. We gathered unbiased voluntary data, and this was filled by 30 mid-managers in each company. So only if 30 middle-level managers or above had filled this data, they were qualified to be in this list. Now, BSI then helped us audit the entire process. And finally, the best 50 companies came out. And these are the companies who are the really progressive companies and invest a lot in the people capital in their organization.
We were privileged to partner with Jombe for this very important evaluation process. So this year's 4 main criteria were based upon enablement, engagement, inclusivity, and how business results are created. And a large amount of emphasis was on people's learning and development within the organization. It was a very comprehensive survey. It was very robust. It was complete. It was inclusive, and we felt that it really deserved our endorsement, and so therefore we were more than glad to have endorsed this entire result.
Ladies and gentlemen, in no particular order, join us in recognizing the following companies who have made it to the top 50 of the People Capital Index Awards, guys. Give it up, give a loud cheer for the following organizations. Aditya Birla Capital. Bennett and Coleman. Hardcastle Restaurants. RBL Bank coming up next.
Bank of Baroda as the next company as part of the People Capital Index. We have on stage at the moment GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals, HDFC Bank, on stage we have L&T Infotech. Can we have on stage Bharti Airtel Limited? Can we have representation from Marico Industries? And Titan. Can we have someone from Titan on stage, please? Novartis Pharmaceuticals India on stage, please. CEAT Limited. HDFC Standard Life Insurance. Making its way up is the Edelweiss broking team. Future Generali. Make My Trip. Sun Pharmaceutical Industries. The team from KPMG. Coming up on stage, ladies and gentlemen, is Hindustan Coca-Cola. K. Raheja. Wipro. Then we have WNS Holdings. Indigo Airlines. ITC Limited. Can we have on stage, please? Sapient. HCL Technologies. GE South Asia. And your RBS Services. Bajaj Finance. Capgemini. The team at Nestle, Mr. Amit Narayan and team.
Thank you so much.